I was a better referee than I ever was a wrestler. I tell you that right now. And I felt that. I don't mean that to be bragging. I don't mean that as a bragging statement. I mean that just the way I felt. I felt, even at the high levels, I felt very comfortable on the mat. I felt that I really knew what I was doing. I knew the rules. I did. I knew every rule. There's 15 rule books in the world, and I've read every one of them. We ran the first drug test for wrestling at that tournament. We set up a drug test and random selecting of wrestlers. There was a lot of drugs going on at that time, a lot. And first time I'd actually seen somebody actually go down on the mat wreathing in agony with muscle cramps from having taken something, whatever he took, I have no idea, but the guy was as strong as a brick wall, and but they had no endurance. So if this is what it got down to try and to get past this immense strength that they had because of the drugs they were taking, we started realizing we had to try and passively wrestle the first round, because after the first round they were kind of almost burned out and they didn't have any endurance. And we started realizing that, and so that's how we played that. We started running them around the mat and keeping them working without tangling up with them. And that was the strategy that we came up with for Canadians, that we did very well. I happened to be on the weigh-ins that morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. I had been selected. They just randomly select. And so I got selected. So I was there, and we were up in the 15th floor of this building, and a fellow came running in and hollering out, "There's a big shoot up in the Israeli section." So we ran to the window and watched, and we could see a bird's eye view of people running around, soldiers, policemen. It was like an anthill, and everybody was running around with a gun in their hand. It was a real thing to see. That's a once in a lifetime to see something like that. I mean, it was just phenomenal to see all these people running around with guns, and you would wonder how they knew even where they were running. They didn't all seem to be running in the same direction, but everybody was running. There was buses coming in and army people and police pouring out of them, and everybody had a gun. That was quite a spectacle, and a very sad thing as it turned out. The boy's down and he's just about pinned, and he's looking up in the stands for his friends, and he's on his back and he's waving to his friends while he's wrestling and getting beat. And you know, when I saw that, I started laughing, and I thought, man alive, bring us down to earth. Good for him, you know. That was great. He was so happy to be out there, and he wanted to make sure his friends all saw him. He was in his glory. He didn't care whether he didn't even know what getting beat meant. I'm very proud of that. Knowing that I did something personally at a high level for my own personal satisfaction to myself gives me confidence in my ability to be able to think fast, to be able to do things on a reasonable basis. And a competitor, and don't have to be a competitor in a sport to be a competitor. Life is a competition.